Hi there. Today in this video, I would like to talk to you about or teach you how to get booked on podcasts that your ideal clients are listening to. Some of the things that we're going to cover is why you should get onto podcast, how to find the right kind of podcast that you can pitch to. Then of course, I'm also going to tell you like how you can pitch podcasts effectively, and also what not to do, and how to prepare for the interviews, and most of all, what you can really do to get back invited onto those shows and other shows. Hi, I'm Kay Sanders, also known as the Creator of Possibilities. I'm your intuitive business coach that will help you turn your passion into successful and thriving business. Now, if the thought of getting on podcast makes you feel a little uncomfortable, believe me, you're not the only one. I remember my very, very first podcast. I'm telling you, it was so horrible that I actually had to take it off of my website because I listened to it a year or two, it was 2 years after I had recorded it. And it was horrendous. But the thing is, you want to get started. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But if you are at the point right now where you may think about starting getting on podcasts, but you're still not feeling very comfortable, let me tell you, it will get better. And it's actually a lot of fun. So today, like I said, I want to talk to you a little bit. I want to teach you how you can really get booked on podcasts that your ideal clients are listening to, so you can then get more exposure and then actually get clients from that. So let's start out with, why should you get on podcast? I mean, being on podcast is great for visibility. It is great for exposure, and it will also help you position yourself as an expert, because podcast hosts, they're not just going to bring on someone that has no clue, that is like fresh out the gate. Yes, of course, the people that had gotten me on initially, they probably didn't know how horrible I was initially, but everyone has to start somewhere, right? But I already was in business for, I think, about a year before I started. But it definitely gets you visibility, because when you get onto someone's podcast, they already have a network. So you are being exposed to their network. And then think about it. If that podcast host gets other experts, which all then promote their show, that will get you exposed to their network as well. Because oftentimes, if someone listens to a show and they like it, then they might look at the other episodes as well. So you can get massive exposure that way. So you definitely become visible. And of course, you being an expert on a show gives you expert status. So you will be able to position yourself as the go-to person for whatever topic you're talking about. Now, if you're wondering, like, at what point in my business should I actually get on podcast? The sooner the better. That's my point of view. I mean, yes, when I first started, was I ready? Oh no, I was not. But the thing is, I got on podcast and I kept going. It really made a big difference in my business. It also made a big difference in my own confidence about speaking. For me, it was more like the fear of public speaking that really had me struggling a lot. But I still provided really great content because I knew what I was talking about. So if you're even just in the beginning stages of your business, still you can reach out to podcasts. Get out there as soon as you can. I mean, you definitely want to have your ducks in a row. So you definitely want to have a strong foundation in place. What I mean with that, if you are a conscious entrepreneur, if you are a coach, a consultant, a healer, or anyone, in that arena, you want to have your pricing structure down. You want to have, your clear mission and vision for your business. You need to know who is your ideal client, because that will be crucial in finding the right podcast. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. But you definitely want to have your ducks in a row before you get onto podcasts, okay? So maybe not get onto podcasts like the first day you open the doors of your business, but start as soon as you can, because I'm telling you, the more podcasts you can get on, the more visibility you will get, the sooner you will be able to actually take your business off the ground. And you will become known worldwide, actually, if you get onto podcasts that are being listened to worldwide. So definitely great for exposure. Now, you might wonder, like, what kind of shows should you be going on? You want to get onto shows that match your industry. So if you're a relationship coach, you wouldn't want to get onto a show that it's all about business, because wouldn't be a good fit, right? Or if you're a business coach, you might not want to go on a psychic channel, right? So you want to get on shows that match your niche, and that also where your ideal clients are listening to. So if your ideal clients are, let's say, energy healers or anyone, on this conscious level, then you would benefit on going onto a channel or a show that targets those people. If you're a business coach or a consultant, you then want to go onto business related podcasts because you will know that your ideal clients are actually listening to that show. So you really want to pick the shows that are a good fit for what you do and also who, caters to your ideal clients. Okay, so really make sure that you go onto the right one. I mean, if you just want to play around, then you can go on any podcast that would like to have you. But if you really want to do it strategically to help you grow your business, I would really suggest go onto the ones that really fit your niche and that cater to your ideal clients, okay? Now, you might be wondering, how can you really find those podcasts? There are two ways that I like to get, onto podcasts. One is radioguestlist.com. I mean, I'm not affiliated with those, but I am using this platform. You can go on there to find, podcasts that are looking for guests. I have posted on there many times for my own show, and that's like my go-to place for looking for, podcast interviews for myself. So you can go on there. They have a huge list of different podcast hosts that are looking for podcast shows or even for summits that are looking for speakers. So what you want to do is you want to go on there, look for the right shows. And I'll go more into details about that here in a minute. Or even iTunes. I mean, iTunes has so many different podcasts on there. What you can do is you can go on there, search through all the different podcasts, and then also reach out to them. So that's the two main sources that I would suggest that you can find podcasts. And of course, you can actually hire someone, a PR person that can help you get onto those shows. But I wouldn't suggest, if you're just starting out with podcasts, I would not suggest making that investment because they do charge for that. So I would suggest start out doing the legwork yourself, and then when you're at the point where you really made being on podcast work for you, where you actually get clients from that, then at that point you might want to outsource that. But it doesn't take that long to actually just send out a couple of emails. But I'll share with you all that how to really get booked onto those shows. Now the way you really reach out to them is just you send them an email. Usually on radioguestlist.com, they will tell you how to reach out to them. They will tell you who is the person you need to reach out to. It has the email address there. So you just click on it and it opens up your email browser, your email software, and you can just send an email that way. So, very, very simple. So nothing very complicated. On iTunes is a little different, but I'll talk about that here in just a minute. Now, how many shows should you be on each month? I mean, it really depends on how fast you want to grow your business. How much do you want to be out there? In some months, I've been on shows. When I did my book launch, I think I was on 4 episodes each week. So that might be a little too much for you, but if you do one show a week or one show every 2 weeks, whatever feels good for you. You might want to take a break for a little bit and then start back up. And then you might also not find any shows, whenever you're looking. So you might not be able to do it consistently. So at that point, hiring someone that can actually do these things for you, they already have a lot of podcasts that they can reach out to. So they might be able to get you those shows a lot quicker and easier if you can find them. But it's really up to you. How many do you want to be on? I mean, if you're just starting out, I would suggest just get on a few each month until you feel more comfortable, and then work your way up to having more. But it's completely up to you, depending on how fast you want to grow your reach, how visible you want to get, or how quickly you want to get very, very visible. So it's really up to you. But I would suggest try to go for 2, maybe 4 each month. I think that's a really good number to get started with. And now, if you're really not comfortable with getting on podcasts or reaching out to people, or if you have all this mindset chatter going on, who am I to speak to all these people? I'm not good enough. I can't do that. Believe me, you are. You started a business because you have a gift, right? You want to make a difference. I mean, otherwise you probably wouldn't be listening to me right now. But you already know enough to be interviewed. Just see it as just a conversation. And nowadays, the interviews are really more geared towards having that conversation. So it's really just like you're talking to another person. I know for my show, for my Abundantly Successful show, I like to have it more on a conversational style. We joke around, we make mistakes. I mean, we're not perfect. But, don't try to be perfect either. But just get started. Try one and then try another and another. And believe me, it actually is a lot of fun. I mean, if you're in a position where you love to share your message, if you are out there, you just want to make a difference, podcast is a really, really great outlet to really share your message massively and has a really big impact. Okay, so don't feel uncomfortable about it. Just get out there, try it. Like I said, I've done it. My first couple, let's not talk about this, it was very horrible, but you get better as you go along. Now I enjoy it, I have fun, I get onto a lot of podcasts, but I've also seen the benefit of being out there, being visible, and there's so many benefits of actually getting on podcasts. I've met a lot of amazing friends that way. I've connected with a lot of amazing entrepreneurs that I collaborate with. So it opens up a lot of doors for you. So that's all I'm trying to say here. Now, the way it will affect your business is definitely visibility. Like right now, if you're just like in a beginning stage or no one really knows you and so forth, you've only been on social media and those type of things. If you get on podcast, oh my God, you will be visible. And that's what you want. You want to attract people to you, right? You want to attract your ideal clients to you. The best way you can do that is if you get onto podcasts, if you get your message out there and you share your message with the world. Believe me, people will start and reach out to you. Eventually, you will actually have podcast hosts reaching out to you saying, we want you on our show. We want you on our summits and those type of things. So it can open up so many doors for you for collaboration, for connecting with amazing experts, for attracting your ideal clients. Okay, so now let's talk about how do you actually get booked. So I mentioned, you can go on radioguestlist.com or on iTunes. What you want to do is when you found shows that you think you would be a good fit for, make sure you really read the description. So on Radio Guest List, usually they have a description there, like what are they looking for? Are they looking for an entrepreneur? What kind of entrepreneur? What kind of person? What are they looking for? So make sure before you reach out to anyone, you really reach out, you pick the right kind of shows. Now, if you are going through iTunes, that's another way that you can look for shows. You also want to go then onto their website. And the same with radioguestlist.com. You want to then go onto the podcast's website. Check them out. Look at them. You look at their show. Listen to maybe 1 or 2 episodes before you reach out, just to kind of get a feel for how they're doing their interviews and if that's really a good fit for you. Okay. So when you found them, listen to 1 or 2 episodes before you reach out. And the way you reach out to them is just simply with an email. Now, there's a right way to reach out and there's a wrong way to reach out. And let me tell you, you want to give them, it is a pitch, yes. But what you want to do is you want to give them some information about who you are and why you would be a good guest for them. Like for example, and I include my script on the screen as well so you can see that. So basically what I do is like my email is just very simple. Hello, I saw your ad on radioguestlist.com and I believe I would make a great guest for your show. I'm a lifelong serial entrepreneur who has experienced a lot of ups and a lot of downs on my journey. I'm now an intuitive business coach, mindset mentor, and best-selling author. So I'm telling them who I am, what I do, or like who I am. I'm also, throwing some names around because that also gives me more credibility. And I'm also known as the creator of possibility. I mean, usually that name just right there usually gets a lot of people like, oh, I like that. And then I mentioned like I help conscious entrepreneurs find that missing piece to make their business a huge success so they can make a big impact in the world and create more freedom in their life. I specialize in creating effective internal systems, the mindset, as well as effective external systems and strategies to design a profitable and successful business model and a business of their dreams. So I'm telling the host right there what I specialize in. You want to do that because they want to know if you're a good fit or not. And I'll talk here in a minute about how to do it the wrong way. And then I also mentioned that I enjoy being interviewed and being able to share my message as well as provide as much value as possible to your audience. That sentence right there will tell them that I love to not only talk about how successful I am, but also share my story and providing value. That I'm really in the business of providing value. And then you can also view more about me and my business at ksanders.com, and you can read my story, which you might find very inspiring and I give the link to that. Looking forward to hearing back from you and possibly adding value to your show. As you can see, it is a pitch, but I also give, and I'm not saying that this is the perfect script to use, but it has given me a lot of, interviews. I mean, I've been on, I don't even remember how many interviews I've been on, but now, the wrong way to pitch someone is hey, I'm interested in being on your show, reach out to me. Really? And you know, believe me, I've been getting a lot of those emails lately since I posted something on RadioGuestList.com for my Abundantly Successful show. I've been getting a whole lot of very horrible pitches where there's no information. They just say who they are and that they are interested in being on my show. They didn't give me any details on what topic would they be talking about. What is their expertise? You know, who are they? So when you reach out to someone, and also another thing I like to do is I also like to include my one sheet. If you don't know what a one sheet is, I'm not going to go into too much detail right now, but a one sheet is basically kind of like your speaker resume. You know, it kind of talks about, like, you know, it has your little bio in there because that's what the show host needs anyways for the show. So it has your little bio, it has some talking points or talking topics that you are usually good in talking about. And, you know, you might even put a testimonial or something on there. Or if you're a best-selling author, you can actually put an image of your books on there as well for credibility and expert status. So, you know, you want to do that. But definitely you want to let the show host know who you are, what you do, how you can provide value to their listeners. So, you know, I mentioned that I talk about the mindset and the business systems and strategies. So they know, when they see my email, they can determine, okay, that's a good fit or not. As I've been going through all the emails that I've been getting, the people that I didn't find a fit, I either email them back like, hey, sorry, you're not a good fit, or I just didn't even reply back, especially those who didn't even make the effort in sending a good email. That's another thing. If you're not even showing the effort that you are going to send a good email, you know, that explains who you are, then they're not going to reach out to you, because for what? You have not put in the effort in actually being considered, other than saying, hey, I'm interested, reach out to me. So you really want to do it the right way, okay? Now, should you reach out to them if they don't respond? I have a little mixed feeling about that, because usually, like, if I don't respond to someone, that it means for me that I'm not interested in them. And if they just reach back out to me, I mean, I usually don't follow up with someone, because I figured, okay, they're getting so many emails. If they're interested in me, they probably would reach out to me. But that is completely up to you. You can try either or. So far, I mean, I have tried it before where I followed up and I didn't really get any responses. So it's completely up to you. You can do it either way, whichever feels good for you. I just choose not to follow up with them. I figured, you know, if they really want me, they will reach out to me. But, you know, sometimes, you know, I've sent out many emails and I haven't gotten any response back, so which is fine. You know, I was probably not the right fit for them. But now, how do you really prepare for an interview? So let's say they said yes to you, they want you on their show. How do you really prepare for that? You want to know what you're going to talk about. You know, some shows, like for me, for example, on my Abundantly Successful show, I actually send people a questionnaire that I want them to fill out, where I ask them for 5 questions that I can ask them around their topic. Because what I like to do is I would like to give the speaker a way to shine. You know, to show who they are, to show their gifts, to show their knowledge. So by them providing me with 5 questions about their topic, I know how to lead the interview. And of course, I throw in some additional questions, but that will give me a better idea of how to lead the conversation. So it will really touch on all the major points that they want to talk about. Now, some shows, they don't do that. They just ask, you know, the same questions with every interview. So some, they might even send you the questions beforehand. Now, if you're just starting out, don't make the mistake where you print out the questions, or where you print out the questionnaire and you put the answers, you write down the answers, and then you try to read them. That's actually one of the things that I did in my very first interview, which, like I said, it didn't go so well. So what you want to do is you just want to look at the questions. You maybe think about, you know, how you're going to answer the questions. Maybe even make some notes, but don't read the answers. Okay, don't. Be yourself. I mean, I like to go into interviews. I mean, now I'm at the point where I feel confident enough that whatever question they're going to ask me, I know how to answer. But you want to be yourself, because that's what's going to sell you. You want to attract the right people to you, and you can only do that if you're being yourself. So don't pretend to be someone else, or don't pretend to be perfect. Just be who you are. There's so many times I make mistakes on my interviews, on my videos, where I stumble over my words, but you know what? I'm not perfect, and that's fine. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I like it. Perfect doesn't make you relatable, and your ideal clients will not relate to you if you are being perceived as just perfect. No problems, no challenges, no mistakes, nothing. So just be yourself. If you get the questions beforehand, just look over it, like I said, maybe make some notes, but then just go with the flow. One of the things that I like to do is before I actually have the interview, I just close my eyes. I just center myself. I do a few minutes, just, deep breathing, a little meditation. And I just know that I go in with providing service. If you go into it from that type of mindset, like you just want to provide service, you just want to share your message and just be who you are, you will be fine. Okay? Now, another thing I would like to add to that is make sure you have a lead magnet or something that you can offer, because one of the goals you would like to have, you want to have is you want to get people on your list. Just because someone listens to you on a podcast, they might not right away say, yeah, I want to work with her. I mean, so far I haven't had anyone who reached out to me like, hey, Kay, I heard you on the podcast. I want to work with you. I think I had one person. Yeah. But usually it's when I offer a lead magnet, I get subscribers from there. But making a straight offer, hey, sign up for a complimentary session, I think, like I said, I've only had that once. So by having a lead magnet or a small offer will help you get people on your list, and then from there you can do the whole selling. Okay, so you might want to make sure that you have something that matches your topic. So if you're talking about sales and then you have a lead magnet about mindset, might not be a good fit. So you want to have a lead magnet that is really geared towards the topic that you're talking about, because, like, for example, when I talk about mindset, I usually give my Mindset Magic ebook because it fits the topic. I talk about the 5 steps, and the lead magnet outlines those 5 steps. So you want to have something that matches, and it doesn't have to be anything huge. Something like just a small checklist is fine as well, but it has to be something of value matching your topic. Okay, so because like I said, you want to get people on your list. Now that you were on the show, you want to really provide a lot of value in order to get invited back onto those shows, or even get other shows to reach out to you, other show hosts to reach out to you. I mean, yes, that might take some time, but eventually, if you do it a lot, if you go on a lot of shows and you really provide a lot of great value, you will actually get, other people, other podcast hosts reach out to you. Hey, yeah, we want you on our show. So that's definitely a great plus right there. So like I said, when you are on the show, you really want to provide great value during the interview. Don't make it salesy. Don't make it a pitch fest. I mean, most of the time, podcast hosts don't want that anyway. So, just be yourself, provide value, and then also share the episode with your list and your followers on social media. And you might want to tag the show host as well, so they see, hey, you're actually sharing that, because that's also the goal for the show host. They want to be exposed as well. I mean, they're bringing you on to the show, so make sure that you're also sharing your episode. And of course, you want to share it anyway, so people can actually hear you talk about, your topic and get to know, like, and trust you that way as well. Now, you also want to thank the show host after the interview. Send them a little thank you email. Say, hey, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to sharing it with my tribe. Just looking forward to getting your email, whenever the interview is released, so I can share it with my tribe. So thank you again for having me on your show. I really had a lot of fun. That's simple. But you want to, acknowledge them, that you're, grateful for them having you on your show. Now, also, if you know of other potential guests, you can also ask the show host, like, hey, do you need some amazing guests? I know a couple people. If they say yes, make the connections. That's one of the things that I love to do. And I reach out to the people that I'm connected with, like, hey, I was just on this podcast. They're looking for more guests. Hey, let me make the connection. So it's a win-win situation. The podcast host gets amazing guests. They're getting a personal introduction from you. And the people that you're introducing to them, they get to be on a show, so that is really providing even more value. So really great service. Okay, so this was it on how to really get booked on shows. Now, I really want to leave you with this. Get out there and share your message. Get visible, become seen, and become known as the amazing expert and celebrity that you are. You got to start somewhere. Just start somewhere and keep moving forward. Believe me. even though the first ones might be very, very uncomfortable and very challenging, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know, I can't believe, I was so horrible. Believe me, you're probably better than you think you were. And eventually you're going to enjoy it. I mean, if you really are come from a place of you want to provide value, you want to share your message, you want to inspire people. I mean, I always say that if I can just inspire one person, if one person hears me talking on a podcast, and if I can just inspire that one person, that's all I want. If I can just inspire one person, because then there's going to be a ripple effect. Whatever message I share, if that touches this one person and has an impact on that one person, then it's going to be a ripple effect, because then their life is they're going to impact someone else, and then someone else, and someone else. So, even if you might not reach thousands of people yet, and you might not even be at that place right now, mindset-wise, to actually be that visible, but just know that if you're being yourself, if you share your best content and just get out there and have fun, it will be a lot of fun. And you're going to enjoy it. And I'm telling you, a year from today, you're probably going to reach out to me and say, Kay, I listened to your video, I watched your video, and I got on the podcast. Now, a year later, I've been on so and so many podcasts, and oh my God, I love it. And if you do, let me know. Email me in a year from now and let me know how things went. But anyways, you can you can even start your own show. And I mean, I'm not going to go into that right now, but you also have the opportunity to start your own show. But I'll create a video about it in a later time. But for right now, it's really, get out there and share your message. And if you would like to have my script, on how to get booked on podcasts, reach out to me, send me an email at kay@kaysanders.com, and I will email you my script. I have no problem with that. If that will help you get out there and get on podcasts so you can share your message, I have no problem sharing that with you. And also, if you need some help in actually, getting your message right and getting booked on podcasts, feel free to set up a complimentary business breakthrough session with me so we can discuss on what you can do to really get visible, to get out there, and how to really get out there and, set up those podcasts. I put the link for the sessions below, so you can just click on that and set up a session, okay? Now, I want to thank you again for tuning in. If you have any comments, put a comment below. Share this video, subscribe to my channel. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks for the next episode, the next how-to episode. And with that said, thank you again for being here, and have an amazingly abundant and successful day.